Dave Weinberg from the Press of Atlantic City up at Eagles practice today, where Dave, they were persistent. You guys were persistent today. You wanted answers. You wanted the truth on Nelson Agholor. It doesn't sound like you got anything definitively from Doug Peterson on which way he'll go with Nelson Agholor yet, right?
Yeah, he was pretty guarded about it. Did mention that he spoke with Nelson and in an effort to maybe try to get to the bottom of some of the issues that have been going on. He also admitted that Nelson met with some sports psychologists from that the team uses also. So, but he still hasn't decided yet whether he's going to use him on Monday night or not. I guess it all depends on how things go the rest of the week during practice. Whether he seems like he's ready to play physically and emotionally before he makes the determination, I guess.
Now, Dave, you wrote about this the other day, and basically, I believe the crux of your piece was to give this guy a shot. Let's not kill this guy. He was a first-round pick. He's got some talent. You think the Eagles should remain patient with him?
Yeah, I do. I just don't think that, a year and a half is enough to determine whether a guy's going to be a bust or not. And I don't profess to know Nelson very well, but to just talking from the other guys like Jordan Matthews today and some of the other receivers and some of his other teammates, Carson Wentz being one, that he's certainly willing to put the work in and is trying his best to improve his skill set and to regain his confidence. I know, like people want to compare him to like Freddie Mitchell and guys like that. And that's a big mistake. I just don't think that Freddie seemed to want to just get by on his natural ability. He wasn't like the hardest worker you've ever seen, whereas Nelson seems to be the complete opposite of that. So I want to give him the benefit of the doubt and just wait a little while before I'm ready to determine whether he's going to be a bust or not.
Well, I think that's fair. All right, how about this week, though, Dave? What do you think is the best way to go forward with this? Is it sit him this week, let him watch, or is it to play him? And, yesterday Teron Davenport was on with us, and he kind of suggested play him, little bubble screens, short passes to kind of get his confidence back and going. So which way do you think is the best way to go about getting him on the right path?
Yeah, I would say throw to him early and often. I would get his confidence back, like I said, with some relatively safe passes. And if he's ever going to come back, this might be the week to do it because the Packers secondary is decimated with injury. And the Eagles should be able to have some success in the passing game. So I would definitely play him myself, and I would, let him go against the Packers secondary, maybe get his confidence back a little bit.
Dave, it's Pete Thompson. Do you think that Paul Turner is the solution? And
PT asking about PT.
Yeah, PT asking about PT. Do you think Paul Turner is the solution? Do you think we'll see him this week?
I was actually talking to Paul today, and he's very excited to be on the active roster and to get the opportunity, though he hasn't been told yet whether he's going to get a chance to play or not. I think it all depends on the Eagles' running back situation. I don't know if he's going to activate 5 receivers. He might have to because there might not be enough running backs to go around. So if that's the case, then I think Paul Turner gets the chance. But, I don't want to put that kind of pressure on a guy who is an undrafted free agent, spent the bulk of the season on the practice squad. I don't want to, label him the savior as some people are trying to do because of his preseason success, but I just don't think that's fair to the kid or to the team. So I would probably maybe just ease him in there, gradually let him get a play or two here and there, and then go from there to see how he makes up. But to label him like the answer, I think that's a little premature.
Well, what did you see from him in the preseason? Because you got to watch him there, do you think he has what it takes to play at this level?
I'm not an expert, so I kind of hesitate to make that determination. Although I will say he caught a lot of passes. He led the NFL in receiving, but he wasn't starting a lot. Wasn't going against starting defensive backs a whole lot of times. NFL defenses tend to be very basic and very vanilla during the preseason, so they're not game planning necessarily for anybody. So I'd have to see him in a game or two against a so-called legitimate NFL defense and see how he makes out before I can determine whether he's an NFL quality receiver. I will point out, though, that he's been available for 11 weeks now, and no other NFL team has bothered to pick him up. And they could have done so at any time, so that tells me that maybe there's some development that still needs to be done with him.
Real quick before we move on, I want to go back to the Nelson Agholor discussion for a second because, Dave, Mike and I have talked about whether or not you sit him for this game or do you put him in the game because you look at how the Green Bay Packers secondary did against the Redskins. Maybe this is the perfect opportunity for Nelson Agholor to quote-unquote get better and feel better about himself and build confidence. Which side of the fence do you lean on?
Yeah, definitely. I'm with you on that. Like I said earlier, yeah, I think this is the week that you play him because they've given up like more than 40 points. I think it's 89 total points in the last 2 weeks, 30 points in the last 5 games, I think. So, yeah, if you're ever going to have success passing the ball, this is the week to do it. Because the Packers they're down to like their 5th-string cornerbacks now, and a couple linebackers are hurt too. So, yeah, I really think that this is an opportunity for Nelson and for the entire receiving corps to maybe get their confidence back because, he's not the only guy who's been struggling out there. It seems like they're all dropping passes, making mistakes with their route running and stuff. So, yeah, this will be the perfect chance for this guy to get back on track.
Dave Weinberg from the Press of Atlantic City, Eagles-Packers Monday night. Talking about the wide receivers, they seem to be dominating. Dorial Green-Beckham, we've talked a lot about him, Dave. Late in that game, he got some targets. They gave him an opportunity. I know he struggled, and we all saw him, and that seems to be the picture we want to paint of him. But was that the Eagles' way of saying, look, we're going to give you another opportunity here. Let's see what you do with it. Do you anticipate that Monday he gets the opportunity to show the Eagles that he deserves those snaps?
I would think so, yeah. Like we've often discussed, he's got all the physical ability in the world, and he's the prototypical wide receiver that you know when you're drawing one up in the laboratory, so to speak. He's got the perfect size, perfect speed, height, and seems to have a pretty good work ethic too. Although I don't really know because we're not allowed to watch practice that much. So,
right.
But yeah, I think this might be a good opportunity for him too to like come out of his shell a little bit and maybe show why the Eagles, traded Dennis Kelly for him. He's been struggling lately, as we pointed out, and but I'm not ready to give up on him yet either. I think that this was another chance for him with Nelson to maybe get his confidence back and maybe put up some numbers. He did have a touchdown catch against Seattle, although it was in garbage time, but. And maybe that was the spark that he might need to really get back on track and then start contributing a little bit more.
Right, yeah, and again, I'm not trying to say, man, this guy looked great. He was doing a great job in terms of the fact that it was in garbage time. But, hey, we're going to ask you in this fourth quarter, go out and perform. And if you go out and perform, maybe we'll give you a little bit more rope. You know what I mean? Like, let's just see what you do in the garbage time. Don't lose focus in a game that doesn't look like we're in. That being said, this is a night where everybody might look good against this secondary. This Packers team, are you surprised how bad they are?
Yeah, I am. Just because of their tradition of success, I think they've made the playoffs like 8 years in a row now. And normally, like really good teams with that kind of tradition have pretty good backups. And then it's the next man up philosophy, and usually you can plug guys right in there. But they've had so many injuries though that. Like I said, you're down to like your 3rd, 4th, 5th string corners. It's really tough for any team to handle that kind of adversity and still compete for a playoff spot. But they are 4-6, even with all the problems. And they still have a chance to even win the NFC North or to get a wild card spot. They're only a game behind the Eagles. So, but they know that they're in a must-win situation where they can't afford any more losses. So it's interesting to see how they come out on Monday night.
Yeah, it could be a tough week to play them for Philadelphia. Dave Weinberg, Press of Atlantic City.
Sure.
He'll be there Monday night. I have a feeling you might be at the Anchor Bowl tomorrow.
Actually, I have the day off tomorrow, believe it or not.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, I've been away the last 2 Thanksgivings. I was in Detroit last year and in Dallas the year before that. So
that's right.
My kind editors were nice enough to let me spend the day with my family, though. I may venture over there to catch a quarter or two just to see how my alma mater makes out.
All right. Well, enjoy your Thanksgiving, Dave. We always appreciate your time. And, of course, we'll be talking Eagles-Packers in our next edition of Weinberg Wednesday here on 97.3. Thanks, Dave.
Oh, thanks, guys. Have a happy Thanksgiving, you too.